This is Shelley Craft coming to you live on SNNLive. We're on location at William E. Hanna Jr. Innovation Center at Shady Grove in Rockville, Maryland. Standing with me is Dr. Fredric Abramson from AlphaGenics, a private company. Dr. Fredric Abramson, I think I know you from a long time ago, but it's nice to have you. Welcome to SNNLive.
Well, Shelley, thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure.
It's good to have you. Let's get right into AlphaGenics. Not Alpha. You could make a mistake with that name. AlphaGenics.
Yes. AlphaGenics, correct. What do you want to get into it? Yeah, what is it?
Go right into it.
Okay. AlphaGenics is the first company in the world to take genetics into the wellness space and away from the disease space. So our focus is on helping people understand that we're all differently normal. And part of our being differently normal relates to our DNA. And the more you know about your DNA, the more options you have in adjusting your life, in raising your children, having a great relationship, and understanding who you are and why you're here.
Now, that sounded really simple. And normally, I would ask someone who was very clinical to give me the layman. Now I want you to be more clinical.
More clinical. Okay, the science of DNA, scientists around the world have shown us that your genes, my genes, everyone's genes, impact our behavior, our personality, weight management, sex, athletics, creativity. Everything we are today comes from our DNA in conjunction with the environment. What we found out in testing this with people is that if they understand their DNA, it opens up options for their environment so they have a better life. So the clinical side is the science is now working for you in your terms, the way you want to have it happen.
Give me an example.
Sure. One of the genes we look at interacts with a high-fat diet, so that if your diet is 30% more fat, you don't use the Atkins diet because it won't work. Rather than guess, you now would know, don't do that. Another gene has some people eat more sugar every day. Some people it doesn't matter, but for other people, that could be a real barrier to losing weight. For parents, there's a gene that learning from negative experience is not as easy. Not everything is positive in life. Imagine a child where something goes wrong and they don't learn as well. Well, what happens in school? Teachers, kids tend to say, you're stupid. Well, they're not stupid. Genetically, they're wired not to learn as well. If you know this, you can then work with the teacher, you can work with the kid, say, it's not a question of ability, it's a question there's something just blocking the learning. So these are examples of how our genetics plays into our everyday life and how this new data gives you new options to think about in ways you never knew existed.
How did you come up with this?
I came up with this because I was in LaGuardia Airport. And I was sitting here thinking, should I eat at McDonald's or Spagos or whatever, the Sparrows? And I said, if only somebody had my genetic code, I could call them on my phone and say, where the hell should I eat? And then I came down to Hopkins because I teach part-time at Hopkins in the biotechnology program. And I was talking to my students and I said, I wish we could do this. And they said, well, we can. I said, okay, let's do it. It's that simple.
This is hilarious.
Thank you.
So this is different from most of the interviews that I've done today because this seems like a very simple, practical, very needed way of living life. It's almost wellness-oriented.
It is wellness. In fact, that's our label. It's wellness genetics. It's a way of thinking about yourself holistically. It opens up a path that we never knew existed. And this is 21st century because we couldn't do this until the 21st century. So for us, it's about the digital mobile world, the social networks, the peer networks, where you can plug in with your data and figure out options you never knew existed. It's a life changer.
This is a wellness menu.
It is a wellness menu. It's a path for happiness and wellness.
Okay, let's get the website out there. I know you're going to get traffic.
3 W's, alpha, ALPHA, dash, or hyphen, Genics, GENICS.com. alpha-genics.com is our website.
What's your background?
My background's a mixture of business. I've been in the retail business, entertainment, rock and roll, wholesale manufacturing, was CFO of a retail franchise for a while. I'm a scientist. I'm trained in human genetics and population planning. I have a background in business and management from MIT. I also spent a number of years as a lawyer, but don't hold that against me.
Did they have DNA too? Anyway.
No, DNA, we can't test lawyers because they're not well, but that's okay.
Ooh.
I know. You said you're the comedian. It's okay.
What are you going to do? Anyway, I want to thank you for coming on to SNNLive. I mean, this is really, it's no joking matter, correct, from the information that you're giving. And I'm going to look into this myself because, you know, you hear about it, and here I am hearing about it for the first time in this interview. Somebody got a menu call.
I know, yes.
You're going to decide what you're going to eat right now?
No, actually, it's my former student from India who wants to partner with us for an activity in India and China.
That's called late-breaking news, ladies and gentlemen.
It is, with a cell phone. Sorry about that.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Fredric Abramson, AlphaGenics, a real character. I love him. We're at the William E. Hanna Jr. Innovation Center at Shady Grove in Rockville, Maryland. And welcome and thank you for coming on to SNNLive.
And thank you so much for having me. You're a great interviewer.
You're quite welcome. Thanks for coming.